Roger, this is Coach Ebby. It is Thursday, day 4 of the Blue Dark Blue Camp. We worked a lot today on our stance side, the stance hip related to the stance big toe tipping. Okay? And I just have to say, I think this worked really well for you. This is good skiing in this video. And some of it is the movement, but a lot of it is when to do it. And you seem to have that synced in pretty nicely. So I'm going to play it nice and slow, point out some good things. You're nice and bent, okay? Your inside ski is pulled back. It's nice and even with the outside ski. That's great. Your legs are bent. That's great. You're not one of the people that has this trouble of wanting to stand up on that new stance leg, which will be the uphill leg. Hands are wide. That's perfectly adequate counteracting for the amount of edge angle of this carve. It's fine. I think tomorrow we might work on some higher edge angles that will require some more counteracting. But the big deal today is counterbalance, is figuring out how to get that outside hip. Now, it's going to be the new outside hip. That's going to be the uphill hip, right? Let's watch as you do this transition. I'm going to play really slow. Nice. You've dropped that hip already. You can see it right there. You can see that you are already in the new turn. And that hip is low. That's great. That's exactly what needs to happen. That is your stance ski. And guess what? You're at the top of the turn. You just started a turn that's going to go like this, and you're right there. That's where you are. That's called carving the high C. That is not an easy thing to do. To do that, you have to drop that hip, which you did. Congratulations. Okay, let's watch this one. Legs are nicely bent. Skis are together. One second. Excuse me, I'm sneezing. This looks really good for this finishing this turn to your right. And let's watch the transition. See if there's any asymmetry. You stay bent. There's never any extension of your outside leg, or is there? A little bit more on this side. This is your harder side, going from right to left. It's not bad, but there's a little. And how can we tell? You can watch your legs straighten up. Watch it. Okay, here's what's going on with that. You kind of have to straighten that leg if you've got too much weight on what is now going to be the inside ski. So we've gone from this turn, and now you're going to make this turn, and you're right here, right? So right now, what has to happen is you've got to drop that uphill hip to get weight on that ski as you tip it to the big toe. And if you don't do that soon enough, then that ski gets away from you because your leg straightens. So you're still a little bit high on that side on the hip right now. I bet you can fix it. There it is. No. Yep, there it is. You fixed it. Okay. So that's a tell. This is really interesting. So you're finishing right. You're going left a little harder. So we'll work on that tomorrow. It takes on this. You're not symmetrical. I don't know anybody that is. It takes a little different cue or emphasis or effort perhaps to drop your right hip than your left hip. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Comes this turn. You've already got that hip dropped. Everything's looking really good here for the top of this turn. Yep, and you're using your hand to remind you. That's good. Which hip? And let's just see if that asymmetry was a one-off or if it's really kind of your pattern. Yeah, it is. Okay. So right now, see how bent your legs are? Watch that right leg start straightening up. And when it does, that hip goes up. So what we want to do right now is keep the legs bent. You can even bend a little more of that uphill leg and drop that hip right. Old edges, new edges, right there. Start dropping that hip instead of raising it. Drop that uphill hip. And of course, you can fix this. And here comes the fix. Now you're good. Again, yeah. So it's just a timing issue. Okay, when you start a turn to the left. That's great. I mean, that's huge progress. And that's something that's fun to work on. It might feel different than your turns to the right in terms of how tight your hip flexors are. It's not unusual to have a dominant or less dominant side, one side tighter than the other. It's very normal. So we got some fine tuning that'll be fun to do. This side looks great. And this side, that was actually better. Oh, well, let's just take a look. You're dialing this in. Turns to the left. You're upside down on the turn, which is a real wonderful thing. Carving the high C. That hip came down a little earlier, a little more that time. Yeah, that actually worked. Okay, that tells you can do it. So, fun. Pretty new thing. Pretty new emphasis anyway. You've known the idea of counterbalance, but we've changed this to like a really where it's got to happen, So, okay, nice work today.